Continuing after our code red alert, beauty, true beauty, is not necessarily physical beauty, as it says in Mishlei, sheker echein vehevel yofi, right? That beauty is vain and lies. Isha yiras Hashem hisisa, a woman that has awe of God is to be praised. Having said that, one shouldn't make fun of, so to speak, natural beauty, right? The Chumash itself describes Sarah, Rivka, Avigail as being beautiful, and according to the Rashbam, also Leah was beautiful, and so on. So we do have this idea that physical beauty can be a good thing. However, if physical beauty is accompanied by bad midos, right, then we have the pasuk in Mishlei, Nezem Zahav Be'af Chazir, the gold ring in the nose of a pig. Isha Yafa V'Sara Stam is a beautiful woman without rationale, right? I mean, it's, the beauty can either complement the good, or it can make worse the bad, right? What's ever there. Ahava Tov b'masei, loving good in deeds. Person should try to do what he can to make the world a better place, right? We can either make the world a better place, we can do nothing, or we can make the world a worse place, right? There are, when you think about different types of personalities, there are people that try and make themselves great by showing that everything else in the world is not good, right? This is no good, this is no good, this is no good, this is no good. It doesn't improve anything, right? And there are other people that make themselves great, not because they're trying to make themselves great, but simply they see things that need improvement and they improve them, right? They work to make something better. They see there are hungry people here, so they create work for them here. They create soup kitchens for them here. Whatever it is that can be done to improve their lot, right? That is something that raises up the world, and those people, the people that do that, usually don't think of themselves as being that important. There's a balance to those things.
Can I ask you a question?
You can always ask a question. Whether I can answer it or not is something else.
You can definitely answer it. Will you answer it now or not is another story. In my humble opinion, Rav Kook, while he was definitely a Talmid Chacham, he's not the greatest Talmid Chacham there was, but he was a great, great leader. What, in your opinion, made him a great leader? In light of what we are learning today.
That's a hard question to answer, but I'm going to answer it only extremely partially and very, very briefly. The greatest, most outstanding quality, and it was true of his greatest Talmidim as well, was their Ahavas Yisrael, their love of Jews, their inability to see something lacking in another Jew. Rav Drukman, for instance, a Talmid of a Talmid, right? Hated the Hebrew word chiloni, right? From vacuum, nothing. Because he said, Kol Yehudi b'shorish nishmatohu kadosh. Every Jew in the root of his soul is holy.
There's just an article in our Sheva that he had written, Rav Drukman, about this whole.
It was. I've heard him say that hundreds of times, but that idea is an expression of Rav Kook, right? Today you find many elements in the Orthodox world who are dismissive of all people that aren't Orthodox, right? Rav Kook was incapable of thinking in that way. It just didn't exist. And the value, this is another great distance in his philosophy than other people's philosophy, that the value of any Jew doing one mitzvah is infinite, whatever it is. They're so great because they do this one thing. It doesn't have to be anything else, right? That being able to look at them and also looking to see what mitzvahs they're performing, to see what good things they're performing. This is critical and therefore everyone that dealt with him immediately felt his love and affection for them and his caring for them, and it always created this positive response. Talk about it a lot more, but want to get to the last section of what we're doing, ahava atzmit, love of oneself. The Mishnah in Avos gives examples of the two types of love. Ahava she'eino tluya b'davar, love that is not dependent on something, is David v'Yonatan, right? And love that is dependent is ahavat Amnon v'Tamar. When you look at the love of David and Yehonatan, if David is successful, he will become king, and Yonatan will not become king. If Yonatan is successful, he will become king, and David won't become king. Right? So you would think these people would be natural rivals with each other, right? I mean, if you look through history, how many siblings have killed their siblings in history to make sure they're the one that becomes king or duke, or right? You can. I don't think it would take us long to get to the number 100, right? Probably among this at this table, just by thinking through history for a while, we could get there. It's a completely normal thing. So the idea that these two loved each other, completely aware that the other one's success meant that they couldn't be successful, and each one wanted the other one to be successful. It's interesting, you note in Tanakh that Yonatan's name is written as both as Yonatan for the first half, and then of his appearance in Nach, and then it's Yehonatan, right? So I don't remember who, but it's more than one of the Mefarshim and Nach notes that the point where there is the Hey in Yehonatan's name, it's the Hey from Hashem, it's the Hey from God's name, is when he gives up on the kingdom and he's giving it to David, right? This is showing a true godly act in the way of Hashem, where his concern is for his friend and for Klal Yisrael, and what's best for his friend and Klal Yisrael, not for himself, right? He knows when he's doing that he's not going to be king. He's giving it to him, and that's something special. We have the other example of the love of Amnon and Tamar, right? And Amnon has to have Tamar, right? And he schemes to be alone with her, and after he's alone with her, there's the decree from Chazal against being alone with an unmarried woman, right? And once he has his way with her, what does the pasuk say? Ki gedola hasniya asher sna'a mi'ava asher ahava. Greater was the hatred that he felt for her than, let us say, the lust that he lusted for her. I don't want to, it says love, but it's really, it wasn't a love, right? He had to fulfill his own needs. He didn't love her, he loved himself. On the other hand, if you don't have any self-love at all, you can put yourself in a very destructive position, right? And therefore, self-love is a necessity, right? How do we balance the necessity for self-love on the one hand and the need to be ethical and holy on the other, right? That will be the subject for next week.